Alex, I want to congratulate you for getting on the front page of the Washington Post. I think that's indicative of the fact that Jeff Bezos and the entire liberal community, which was controlling and controlled by the Clintons and the corporations, is now disintegrating. What's happened is it's really an American revolution in a very unique way. And Roger Stone was correct when he said you were the cutting edge in terms of the words you spoke, the fact that you stood there and continuously hammered at the issues that we were concerned about, the false flags, the 9/11, the Sandy Hook, and they praised you by saying you're a conspiracist, you're a truther, and that is the new language of our revolution. In other words, to be called a truther, to be called a conspiracist, means a lot to us. If we're all truthers and we say that Obama was lying, Obama created false flags, Obama celebrated the fact that he killed Osama bin Laden when Osama bin Laden has been dead, then what's happened in our revolution is that we're basically stating the truth and we went against the system. The system has now been completely turned upside down. Never in our history have we had a multi-billionaire who's made his own business, never had to go out and ask for help from others other than his own family, has been bankrupt in his companies, which is standard for business in the real estate industry. Let me tell you, it's standard. And at the same time, went around 7 times a day, 8 times a day on his own plane on his own expense account, and basically mustered the wrath of the American people to get elected into the presidency. I welcome him. I wish him the best of luck, and I think he's chosen well. Jared Kushner, his quiet advisor, I think is quite brilliant. I think Bannon, as a chief of staff, was a very good choice. And I think the notion that he was anti-Semitic is absolutely absurd.
You just make this crap up.
Well, but Alex, you got to look at, the press doesn't even look at the basic history. Bannon was an executive in investment banking in mergers and acquisition. Now, I've been in that position in another firm, Kidder. But to be in Goldman Sachs and to be anti-Semitic, that's just not possible. Then he went into the movie business and became an executive producer and a producer of a lot of films, again in an industry that was predominantly Jewish. Then he works with Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump, who basically are Orthodox Jews. So the notion that he is both an anti-Semite, a racist, and it's just absolute nonsense. So what you see basically is the propaganda machine from the left or wherever the paper's coming from has never done due diligence.
In your view, let me ask you this: what do you think of the Emanuels? I mean, look at what they done in Chicago.
One of them, and he happens to be my agent. He's not a very effective agent. He took over the William Morris agency, with which I've worked with for 30 years. He's arrogant, self-serving, totally, I think he's a bore. I mean, I'm no longer with that agency. To say that somebody who served in the IDF and has not served in the United States Army happens to be of dual loyalty. And I've said before, I do not approve of American Jews having 2 passports. You either have one American passport or one Israeli passport. You cannot have 2. If you have an Israeli passport, then go to Israel, serve Israel, but don't come and use our country. Bibi had 2 passports. He took advantage of the education we gave him here all the way through MIT. Then he came back and had the insolence to insult us, to demand things from us. Israel has no right to demand anything from us. It may be our ally, but it's not our best ally. There are many other countries who've been close to us. Israel has been a little child who has to be spanked repeatedly and has to grow up. I think what's happening is in a revolution, when you're stuck doing the same thing again and again, as Einstein would say, and it's not effective, it becomes stupid. One of the things that I said a long time ago about Hillary was she was not as bright as everybody thought. I don't mean in terms of just being able to spout out policy. She never was able to be creative, initiate anything on her own, and think out of the box or strategic. When she did, and the Democrats did, we had Libya, we had Iraq, we had Syria. So what you have is a lack of sophisticated intelligence on the liberal side. What you have is constant palaver of the same type. At this point, they're totally shocked. Everything you said about the liberals, I have encountered in my own area. I couldn't believe that the people wouldn't talk to me. People were afraid. They were scared that they would be raped, pillaged, and this would be a Bolshevik or Stalinist takeover. I said, no, this is a revolution, but it's a revolution that was done very peacefully through the internet, using many of our own people within the government, and it was done to take out corruption. Now, Trump and his family represented the voice of America and the energy of America. When did we ever have an entrepreneur like Trump who came forth, dedicated his whole life and mission, and said, I don't want your salary, I don't want your pension, I don't even want your health care. That's what the citizen warrior is all about. And he is going to appoint people who are along those lines. Jeff Sessions, I don't know him. I have a lot of respect for him, but this is a man who's been in the law, steeped in the law for God, how many? 3-4 decades.
40 years.
That's exactly right. And he worked all the way up from his own county, Senate, and came to the national government. This is not somebody who on a whim came in there. This is not a Loretta Lynch who works at Hogan and Hartson. This is not a James Comey who also worked at Hogan and Hartson. This is a gentleman who represents the South. Then we have Pence, the vice president, representing Indiana. Then we have Mike Pompeo from Kansas. Is America beginning to understand that Trump understands what our country's about?
Thank you.